Hello, everybody. This is Mike, and once again, we're back with Zack Hendon from the Hendon Law Firm. Today, we're talking about workman's compensation and what benefits you would be entitled to. Zack, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Mike.
Well, let's get ready to dive into this, but first, we need to talk about the disclaimer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for information purposes only. Zack is an attorney with over 30 years experience and provides this information to help you, but this cannot be seen as legal advice. For legal advice, you need to have a consultation with an attorney in your area. If you're in the metro Atlanta area, please give the Hendon Law Firm a call. Zack, we're diving into workman's compensation, but specifically, what benefits are we entitled to? So I have about 4 things here, and I just want to ask you, let's start it off with, what medical treatment am I entitled to, and can you give me an example or two?
Sure. Yeah, you're entitled to medical treatment for your injury. There is no deductible, whereas with your health insurance, you might have deductible, you might have, you have to either meet a deductible and then you have to meet some copay. There's no deductible and no copay on the expenses for medical treatment. There is, a requirement generally that you treat with an authorized treating physician or a authorized referral physician. If you're seeing a particular doctor, he might refer you out to a neurologist. That might be an authorized referral physician. So you do treat with, authorized medical. If you do that, then it's covered as long as it's a compensable claim, a claim that has not been controverted. If it is a non-catastrophic case, meaning your run-of-the-mill workers' comp case, a foot injury or a back strain or something like that, then within the last couple of years, the law has changed. It used to be lifetime medical, but on non-catastrophic case now, it is limited to 400 weeks of medical treatment. In a catastrophic case, for example, if a person has had his leg cut off in an accident, then in a catastrophic case, there is no 400-week cap on medical treatment. So that's an outline of the medical benefit.
All right. Well, then moving on down to the more extreme, what about disability payments?
Okay. Well, if you're hurt so badly that you cannot work, then the authorized treating physician either takes you out of work or puts you on light duty, and the employer maybe doesn't have light duty work for you to do, so that you would not be entitled to a wage. You would then be entitled to disability payments. And by way of example, let's say if your average weekly wage is $600 a week, then you're entitled to 2/3 of that average weekly wage, or in this case would be $400 of disability payments. And those, for a non-catastrophic case, those payments can continue for up to 400 weeks. And for a catastrophic case, it could continue for a lifetime.
Okay. And lifetime, is that moving into permanent disability?
Yes. I mean, you can have, a case that, well, you can have a permanent disability even on a non-catastrophic case as well. But
and is that separate from a permanent disability settlement?
Yes. I think what you're referring to and is really the third type of benefit. And in workers' comp, there's only 3 benefits, and that's the medical, the disability, and the PPD rating, which is the permanent partial disability rating. So what happens is after, if it's a catastrophic case and your indemnity is being paid throughout your entire life, and you never get off of indemnity benefits. You really never receive a PPD settlement because the benefits just never cease. Okay, but if you have a scenario where, and it can either be because you've gone back to work or because you've exhausted your 400 weeks of benefits, of indemnity benefits, then once your disability payments cease, then your permanent partial rating can start to be paid out. Now, what that is in Georgia, the law says that you're entitled to a PPD rating, and what that means is that the doctor will, the authorized treating physician will, or is at least is supposed to take the AMA Guides to Permanent Impairment, 5th edition, and use the rating tables in there. And these books are a 2-volume set of books, very large books, covering every body part, and the doctor is supposed to use those books to develop a rating. Now, in general, what really happens is that, you know, these orthopedic surgeons that are used to giving these ratings, I don't think they really go to the books. I think they're like, for example, if you've got a herniated disc in your back, some of the employer-friendly doctors are used to giving a 10% rating, or, you know, if you have a back surgery with a fusion, they might give you a little bit more. A lot of times what these rating books really say that the rating should be a lot higher than some of these employer-friendly doctors give you. But so what will happen with a permanent disability rating? Let's say, for example, that you've had back surgery and the doctor gives you, to make it easy, let's say a 10% rating. Well, the law says that on certain types of body parts, and they're listed, you know, in the code section, if it's a listed body part, it tells you how many weeks for 100% rating. For things like a back or neck injury, those are considered whole body ratings. And in Georgia, a whole body rating is 300 weeks. And so if the doctor says, okay, you've got a back injury, I'm going to give you a 10% rating, that is translated to say 10% of those 300 weeks. And so then the doctor multiplies the 10% times the 300 weeks, or I'm sorry, the adjuster would multiply that times the 300 weeks, and that entitles you to an extra 30 weeks of benefits. And this is the same comp rate that you were getting when you were on total out of work, or what we call TTD, or temporary total benefits, is figured at the same rate. Now, the example I gave before is a person making $600 then gets a $400 a week benefit. It works the same way. So in this example, a person with a 10% rating to the back would get 30 weeks at $400 a week until that's paid out. Now, typically, the other question you asked was about a settlement involving that. Typically, when we are trying to get a case settled, what we're really doing is we're putting together and forecasting those three benefits and what's going to happen in the future. And then when we put together that, we then tell the adjuster, say, we'll settle our case for X number of dollars based on our forecast of these three events. That's the medical, the disability, and the PPD rate.
Okay. And then moving on in, what about vocational rehabilitation?
Yeah, I'm often asked about that. And years ago, like 20 years ago, even in non-catastrophic cases, you had vocational rehabilitation, or what we call voc rehab for short. That the law changed so that now you only have voc rehab in catastrophic cases, and you do not have it in non-catastrophic cases. You know, you can have a nurse case manager. You know, sometimes nurse case manager can be on the file if you give them permission, and that will, they can sometimes help an employee, try to help an employee find a job. But in general, there is no voc rehab unless it's a catastrophic case.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Zack Hendon explaining what your benefits are and what you're entitled to in workman's compensation. And now that you have it, what do? Zack Hendon is an attorney, an attorney here in Metro Atlanta with the Hendon Law Firm. And if you're in the Metro Atlanta area and you need help, be sure to give him a call at 770-284-3737.